Let's just worship God this evening. Lift your hands to your Father. Begin to say beautiful things to Him. You know what He means to you. Final worship, the cold body and mind. My heart, my mind, my soul belongs to you. My love, my life, it all belongs to you, belongs to you. Hey. Oh yes, belongs to you. I'd like you to sing it with me this evening. Lift your hands and say, my heart, my heart, my heart, my mind, my soul belongs to you. Sing my love and my life, and my life, it all belongs to you. Belongs to you. all belongs to you. It all belongs to you. It all belongs to you. It all belongs to you, God. It all belongs to you. It all belongs to you. Every hand that I bring, Lord. Everything that we are, Lord. It all belongs to you. It all belongs to you. Just lift your hands and worship Him. We're going to worship Him. Speaking other tongues. We worship you, Holy Spirit of God. We lift our hands and we say thank you. I worship you with all my heart, with all my heart. I worship you with all my heart, with all my heart. Just lift your voice and say, I worship you. I worship you. Spirit of God, with all my heart, with all my heart, with everything that I am, Jesus, with all my heart. Sing, I worship you. I worship you. Oh, you are. Oh, for loving me, Jesus. With all my heart, with all my heart, with all my heart. I lift my hands and sing, I love you, Lord. I love you, Jesus, because you first loved me. Oh, with all my heart. Oh, you done, Lord. Oh, I lift my hands and I love you, Lord. I love you, Jesus. I love you for loving me. Hey, with all my heart, with all my heart, Jesus. And I praise you, and I praise you, and I praise you, Lord. I praise you, God. I praise you. And that's all that God gave us. With all my heart, with all my heart, and I worship you with all my heart, with all my heart. Just lift your voice. I worship you with all my heart, with everything that I am, Lord. With all my heart, I worship you, God. Oh, that my soul will There's nothing left to say, Lord. With all my heart, with everything I am, with all my heart. Hey, I worship you. I worship you. With all my heart, with all my heart, with all my heart. And I lift my voice. I lift my voice and worship you.
Ain't no zeti kana bom shambrina candela bom sita. I Laina ko shine prana candele vosi ti candele boro ko shata. Levo dodo ko sita candele bo shada bosi. I don't know what you are holding back from the Spirit of God this evening. The song says to worship Him with all your heart. Whatever it is you are holding back, that can hold you back from what God has come to deliver to His people this evening. Can you let go of the burden? Can you let go of the anxiety? Can you let go of the trouble? Can you let go of the fear? Can you let go of the desperation? Can you let go of the anger and worship God with all your heart, with all your soul? Let Him penetrate every aspect of your heart. Come on, somebody. Zaita ko shaba. Rana kiza toza. Piana kande de bousha. Lina kana no sita cambra na kande le bousha. Leko toza zina kande le bousha. Let the worship of God fill every aspect of your heart, of your being. Emo koza kande le bousha kande bousha. Let it take your emotions. Let it take your cognition, your intellect. Let it take your drive. Let it take your hunger. Let it take your aspiration and go. Let God be at the center of your being this evening. Come on, somebody. Hallelujah. We give you praise, Lamb of God has taken away all our sins. We place you at the highest place, above our desperations, above our desires, above our goals and aspirations, above who we are, what we want to be, above our aspirations, above our achievements, above our trophies. We place you above the very world itself. Who are we that you are mindful of us? Yes, your very breath that makes us alive. Without you, we are nothing. Without your breath in our nostrils, we're just a pack of clay, dead body, amounting to nothing. We give you praise, Jesus. Thank you, Father. Thank you for your indwelling, for your presence, the aura around us. When men see us, they are marveled because you've clothed us with glory and power. Who are we that you are mindful of us? Thank you, Father. We give you praise in the mighty name of Jesus. Come on, give God praise once again in the house. Put your hands together. If your mind can remember something that God has done for you, put your hands together once again. Hallelujah. Come on, somebody. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Please, you may have your seats as you welcome somebody to this awesome service this evening. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Have you ever been in a place where, as much as you were calling God to come help you, a part of you told you that you had a blame in the situation where you found yourself? Anybody ever been there before? You are in a hard time, going through a difficult situation. You are calling out to God to come and save you, but a part of you tells you, you know you caused your problem. Anybody has been there before? Okay, it's easier when it's a final situation, when it's something that is termed, when it's one you can always walk out of. But when it's something that is like marriage, that there's no exit, and you're in a bad situation in a marriage, and as much as you're trying to ask God to help you, something tells you, you know you caused this. You know you saw the signs, but you went for the trivial things instead of the important things. Anybody who wants to be there, God forbid. But one thing about God and His deliverance is that a bulk of God's deliverance comes through His instruction. That is why no sane person should miss this tendency series. Because God's deliverance is in advance, not necessarily when you're in trouble. Deliverance is happening all through the weekends and this Wednesdays. Don't miss it for any reason. If you have a friend that's going through a hard time, please make sure you are here. And if you are here, let your ears be open. Let your heart be open to receive that God which God has to tell you and save you from trouble. This is a massive thing that God is doing through this series. You don't want to play with it. If not, your life might be in trouble. Praise the Lord. As we get set to receive the word, please, at this point, let's make welcome to further get our hearts to the place where we can get this that God has to give us. Put your hands together for the ministry of the tribe of Judah. Come on, put your hands together for them.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Sometimes we have company that come over to our house, but at some point they have to leave. But in Jesus, we have a company that never had to leave. Can you celebrate Jesus in the house? Welcome him in your life. Hallelujah. How can I live? How can I move? How can I be without you? How can I stand in the midst of pain? How can go on without you? You are the company that doesn't have to go, so stay with me. I'm broken before you. Oh, yes. Only 'cause I need you. I'm empty if I don't have you. So stay with me. I lift my heart to you. You are my heart's victory. I can't imagine life without you. So stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. How can I live? How can I move? How can I be without you? How can I stand in the midst of pain? How can go on without you? You are the company that doesn't have to go. Stay with me. I'm broken before you. Oh, yeah. Only 'cause I need you. Empty if I don't have you. Stay with me. Lift my hand. I lift my heart to you, Lord. You are my heart. Can't imagine my life without you. Life without you. Stay with me. I'm broken. Please don't leave me, Lord. I am empty without you. If I don't have you. Stay with me. I'm broken. Please don't leave me. money. Open up your money and ask him. Ask him, ask him, ask him to stay with you. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. Lord, stay with me. Stay with me. Lord, stay with me. Stay with me. Lord, stay with me. Stay with me. Oh, I need you. Stay with me. 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 Woo! Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Father, we need you to stay. Thank you, Jesus. Stay. Oh, stay with me. Stay with me. Leave. I cannot move. How can I be without you?
Hallelujah. Stand with me. What a wonderful presentation this evening. Thank you very much. Which tribe is this? Judah. Thank you, tribe of Judah. Please, you may be seated. Amen. Hallelujah. Okay. Welcome to the month of June. Amen. It is our month of kingdom balance. By Sunday, second service, by the grace of God, I will be explaining or throwing more light on what we are talking about by kingdom balance by Sunday, by the grace of God. But I needed to start praying alongside every team that is declared from the pulpit. Kingdom balance. Praise God. All right, the materials for Woman to Woman conference that just concluded last Sunday, it's available in tape, CD, and MP3. The week of divine intervention started today. Week of divine intervention started today. Today is the first day of the new month, and by the grace of God, we have been praying. Week of divine intervention have lasted for 13 years because we started it a year. It's a year of 2 years after. 2 years after is 12 years. It's 12 years. We started it 2 years after the church started. We started praying first 7 days of every new month. And we have been on it for 12 years. So join us from tomorrow up until Tuesday next week. And in line with that, I also noticed that, I promised us that the worker of the year this year is going to drive home with a brand new car. And some people were motivated in the beginning, and the majority have drawn back. And maybe they think that pastor have forgotten it. Maybe he has forgotten it. Look at what you're covering. Look at media. Look at what you're covering. To a media person, you're putting me one side, standing like a statue. You can't move the camera. And people are watching online. And I'll be walking away from the camera. Then my first hour, because. Amen. People always want me to talk and scatter what I'm doing. All right, so some of you thought that, okay, pastor have been complaining that the church doesn't have money. Church doesn't have money. So how can pastor really fulfill that promise? You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. I haven't said it this way before. And now that I've said it, that dinner we are going to have, workers' dinner, is taking place on the 18th of December. 18th of December in Best Western. So Pastor Dexter, Sweet Spirits, 18th of December. So we can give them a deposit for that day. If it takes selling my own car to buy that car, buy it. You must drive home with a car. And then some people are also taking it seriously. I see them. They take it very seriously. They come, and after prayer, they also make sure they put their name down. And some people are putting their name down without putting their tithe down. Okay? You need balance. You're walking on one leg. Everything must be complete. As a matter of fact, by the end of the month of June, we will do pre-examination and give you names of people qualified for the car. First runner-up in all the departments. First runner-up. We'll just do an examination, give you first runner-up in the other department so that people can start working hard again. Praise God. So it's in my mind, overtaking is allowed, yes. It's in my mind heavily that that thing comes to pass. As a matter of fact, I have started making calls to US about the car. Started making calls to US about the car. And believe me, it's going to happen. And that is just the beginning, because very soon you will come to church and see 10 cars line up. 10. That one may not need any qualification. It's when if I like you, I just say, carry, you don't try. Yes, the one on blue. Carry, you don't try. Like that. Before you get to heaven, you will get a little bit of reward here. The people who are working are saying amen. The ones who are not working are saying, hey, now wow, Pastor. It's going to happen. Praise God. So Benevolence Outreach is on the 12th of June. 12th of June is our Nigerians Democracy Day. Okay? Democracy without democracy. So we are doing benevolence to the needy in the house. The needy in the house, we are reaching out to them. So if you are not among the needy, you must be among the contributors. Meet Pastor Sunday Ike or any other benevolence department member, Pastor J, to make your donation so it will help us buy stuff more to give out to the people. And then seat leaders training stroke night vigil is this Friday by 10 p.m. And then leaders training stroke review meeting is this Saturday by 4 p.m. at Teens Church. Compulsory for all the pastors, HODs, ESCOs, seat leaders, etc. And then Media Thanksgiving is on the 26th of this month, 3 weeks or so from now, in Agone Chamber. By the grace of God, it promises to be a wonderful time. I was speaking with our guest, the guest minister coming, and he was excited. He told me he can't wait to be here, that they are ready. Amen. How many of us are ready to hear what God has to say? Today we are discussing on the tendencies of the last son in the midst of ladies, and we are discussing about the tendencies of the first man with siblings behind. And on Sunday morning, first service, we are going to be discussing the tendencies of a last girl in the midst of guys. Last girl in the midst of guys, and discussing the tendency of first daughter with siblings. Just like today, we are going to discuss the reversal on Sunday first service. Today again, I'm going to start by example, painting my picture again. Let me have my umbrella. If you have an umbrella in church, please stand with it. Chidima, is it, were you the one that brought the one of last time? God bless you. That's a woman that lives ready. If it starts raining now, she will just, boom, enter the rain, enter keke and go. You will say, I didn't know it will rain. And you get it, you're trekking and you don't know it will rain in raining season. No, it will snow. But she lives ready. ready. Carry her umbrella. Behaving. You see, this lady this lady is a young girl, but an old woman inside. Old woman. If you want to get married, this is the kind of woman you should get married to. Kind of woman to get married to. When you see their tendencies, you know what they will become. When you look at a man's feet, you know the kind of drum to beat for him. If you leg day like this, better just are you getting me? Look at that. Young girl, less than 30 years. Carrying umbrella. Some of you are too psychedelic to carry umbrella. When you start showering now, you start moving around like you are carrying salt. Praise God. I talk to you the way I talk to you because I know you guys are young people. Young people, if I don't correct you, you will spoil. You're already spoiled. What we're even doing is managing you. You are gone. All right. Just open the umbrella. Okay, I collect this umbrella from you. You can go. I'm looking for guys. Stand up. The one on white. Come. Yes, you. Come. Did you play football with us? Are you a new first timer? Come first. Come. Come up. Hide that your car key. Hide it. Thank you. Okay. What's your name? God's will. You see, stand here, God's will. Nah, come here, stand. Okay, God bless you. I must keep painting this picture until it enters your fabrics. Now, who is that girl looking for a husband? Oh, Oluchi. My mannequin is coming, don't worry. Oluchi, Oluchi, if you dress like this to church again, I won't use you again. Every time, jean and shirt. Are you a fighter? You fight as a hobby? My friend, come here. Why are you holding graduation this thing? It's umbrella. We don't need your own. You see, I'm another good girl. Praise God. Is somebody listening to me? Praise God. Guys, watch this. Now, these are two guys believing God for a wife. And two of them are Chaikin or Luchi. Because one of the last things a woman will tell you is how many people Chaikin her. Anytime you come into her life, you're the only one. Anytime you come in, she just broke up with the other one. And it's usually last week or last month. Praise God. So are you in any relationship? No. Are you sure? Very well. So you've never had, no, I just broke up last week. Especially when she sees potentials around you. Okay? These are the games we have played before. Amen? Now, Oluchi is the lady that these two people are chiking. Now, if you look at this guy, the guy has a covering. In the realm of the spirit, nobody sees this covering. Oluchi does not see this. Oluchi doesn't see this. They are symbolical. What Oluchi sees is a guy well suited up, a manager in Zenith Bank. Here is a guy who just finished school and is managing one small shop around Anwai Road. Eh? Okay, whatever you call it. Okay. And he's doing POS business. Praise God. If you guys don't allow me, I will stop this series. I'll stop this series. Keep quiet. If you know the series, I will allow you to come and teach it. Now, Remember, this thing is not sin. It is the spiritual covering of his family, not him, his family. This covering was handed over to him by his father. The father received it from his grandfather. His grandfather received it from his great-grandfather. That's how he finally got it. And most times, or sometimes, what is covering your family, you don't even know. The same thing with this young man. Very bright guy, intelligent. Now he's working in Zenith with no form of disdain. This guy here is looking sweet. He has a car. This one treks. Two of them are talking to Oluchi. And Oluchi's interest is here. Manager Zenith Bank with a brand new car, official. But what Oluchi doesn't see in him is what the spiritual covering is. What attracted Oluchi is this. I'm saying that to say, I know there's somebody here who is going through this now. This guy picks Oluchi from time to time, from school, from workplace, anytime, takes her out, makes sure she's comfortable. In fact, from the day he said her, he placed her on allowance. So Oluchi is relatively comfortable. But there is something over this guy. And that thing is that people in his family climbs very fast. But by 50, they nosedive and return back to abject poverty. Oluchi doesn't know about it. What Oluchi is seeing is on the immediate. In a bit of Oluchi trying to know about him, the only thing he told Oluchi is that my father was also a banker. He worked with CCB, Cooperative and Commerce Bank of those. Hey, really? Your father? Yes, he was a regional manager. So this bank thing is in your blood. He said, yeah. But didn't tell Oluchi why the father, after being an area manager in CCB, doesn't have a house of his own. Oluchi is still attracted by this. Oluchi doesn't want to probe beyond anywhere. Oluchi is blinded by care. Oluchi is blinded by allowance. Oluchi is blinded by suit. Oluchi is blinded by smelling nice. This is a young man who just left school and is struggling, doing POS business in Anwai Road. And he sees Oluchi, likes Oluchi. Very nice guy, kind-hearted. As a matter of fact, treats Oluchi better than this guy. But for Oluchi, because this guy doesn't give money as often as this guy, and when he gives, this guy gives 50, he gives 10K. And that 10K he gives he gives periodically. Oluchi is from one poor family too. So Oluchi is also a disabled. He needs help. Needs help. So the likelihood is that Oluchi will tilt towards this side, naturally speaking. But this covering these people, also is that there is goodness in their family. But what happens is that they struggle to about 40 years in their family. But from 40, they pick up. And when they pick up, they rest all through their life. Oluchi did not. He's not even interested in probing. What he's seeing is POS on Anwai Road. In fact, the day this guy carried you, taking you out, and needed to greet a friend on Anwai, you guys passed his shop along the road. You know their shop along the road. And the boyfriend, so to speak, was just eating mama put that he bought across under his umbrella. And Oluchi laughed and said, see people will want marry woman. And drove past. Now, I have said before, it's very important, not just who you marry, but under which covering you are. Since we began to casualize marriage, we began to be victims of divorce and separation. Our parents never casualized marriage. Any woman who is in this house that is up to 65, 70 and above, ask them how they got married. They never casualized marriage. Marriage was a serious business in those days. I've always told you that the parents of the both parties will always inquire, who is he? Who is she? Which village is she from? How do they behave? Where is she coming from? And they will make these inquiries before they release their daughter. Because they know that marriage is a serious business. But these days, we can go out in the morning single, come back married. Because in our subconscious, what is it? What is it? Is it not change of name? Is there anything? Is it not change of name? And if I go in and it doesn't work, I walk away. I walk away. I walk away. That's why we're going through the pain we're going through. And that's why I must stand to make sure you don't go through that pain. I didn't hear amen. So Oluchi has gone to join Mr. Zenith Banker. And they began to live happily after. This man have started mourning his life, saying to himself, I knew it was because I was poor. That's why Oluchi left me. God, you have seen it. It is well. He's wept as much as he can weep. And Oluchi has gone. 2 years into the marriage, or even a year, Oluchi is already driving one sleek Venza 2018. And passes his neighborhood just to let him know that she made the right decision and that he was the wrong decision. 10 years down the line, because he was 40 when he got married to Oluchi. 10 years down the line, he started nosediving. First of all, they fired him. Fired him with an allegation of 1.3 billion missing under him. And he sold the house and told Oluchi, relax. 1.3 billion, if I sell my house and do it, and then we'll cut case and they did all manner, sold the house, sold cars, sold land. At the end of the day, the bank gave a waiver. They now have one car remaining. So Oluchi is no more driving. They now interchange the car. Oluchi is going down. Suddenly, his light came. Oluchi was passing out when I noticed that his umbrella was no longer there. Stopped one day to ask. I said, hey, no, the guy is no longer here. What happened? He's now in Spain. What? Spain? What happened? When I was dating him, nobody around his family was. He said one woman was just passing here and saw him. And from there, they became friends. And the woman just told the brother that is in Spain to help him, and they helped him. This guy came last week. He is now a big boy. Please, do you have his number? Before getting the number, you now went to check him out on Facebook. Because, remember, she blocked him before as a pack of garbage, only to log into Facebook and see the front of house where this guy took picture. Dropped a message on Messenger, and the guy responded that that's one of my houses in Spain. Really, thank God for you. God will bless you. God will sustain you. God will do you. All those things she's doing. You know why she's doing it. You guys know now. The guy just said amen and backed out. The next time she checked out, the guy is increasing the more. The husband is struggling the more. Not because he wants to struggle, but because the forces that is covering the family cannot allow him to sustain wealth. You know where I'm going to? This is like an ordinance. This is like a covenant. Every covenant in a family. I need another person, a guy to come. One of you come fast. Every covenant in a family, when he's tired, Sunday, when he's tired, life is about to call him home. That lot falls upon the first son. You see how we enter first son? The lot, whether good or bad, falls upon the first son naturally. The wealth the father is carrying, he will carry. The curses the father is carrying, he will become the first partaker. Let me tell you, check statistics. Most first sons are useless. Check statistics. Because they are first partakers of evil of the family covering. Now, give it back to your father. You can go. We are talking as if Oluchi doesn't have a covering on her own. Oluchi has a covering. Oluchi's covering may be that any time she gets married, the husband will die. I told you I have a lady, we grew up together. God forbid that she knows I'm talking about her now. Because in recent times, I sent her money. But when we started off together, this girl the girl no follow you, they do organic. The girl's skin is like electric. She's as fair as fair. I can't call her name. Very fair, very nice girl. But there is something the family is carrying. Anytime any man comes and says, I do traditional marriage, the man dies. Another one came, did traditional marriage, did wedding, died. The third one came, heard what happened to the first and second. That's what Oluchi is carrying. Oluchi is also carrying something in her that whenever she affiliates with a man, the man starts going down. Have you seen it before? You marry a man who is doing very well and suddenly she starts going down. And you are wondering what is happening to you. The money they were owing you before she came, they never paid it. The people you know that press the button for you for the money to be released suddenly are transferred out of that office. Women also carry such things. So, the inquiry or the profiling of the man and the woman is key. And that is why we encourage you as single people, when you want to get married to a man, woman, one of the things you must do is don't zip down. Don't test the microphone. It's working. When I came up here, did you hear me say, eh? I know it's working. So I started talking. Is it not working? How come you're hearing? So, this is exactly one of the things that blinds a man and a woman. Anytime you engage in a relationship and you consummate what should not be consummated, what happens is that the covering behind him enters her. The covering behind her enters him. So in the spirit, two of you are already married. And you can't judge what you are part of. You can't judge what you're part of. Suddenly, anything they tell you about the guy, your mind tells you that don't worry. God will help us. God will help us. And you don't know why you are saying what you're saying. It's because spirits have exchanged hands. Sex is spiritual. The worst disease you can get through sex is STDs, including HIV. Is it not? But let me tell you, that's the least disease you can get. You can manage HIV and live on your own as long as you want to live. But there is one disease that lives with you and your generation. It's called family covering. You can control HIV. It won't move from yourself to your son or daughter. But you see family spirit, you can't control it. It's called family covering. And that's exactly what happens with people. So before this guy uses all the fine lines and speak all the grammar, which are nature, intelligence, use intelligence to take you into the wrong spirit. Let me tell you, I have a big boy in my village. Big boy. I won't mention his name. Anybody who is in Onitsha knows him. If you're in Anambra State and you don't know him, you just came. If you count 3 pharmacy companies in Anambra State, you will count him. He is stinkingly rich. But there is a covering over his family. He's a heavily occultic man. 3 of his children gone. 2 of his sons-in-law gone. Once you enter, he will collect you. Once you enter, he will collect you. Once you enter, everybody knows. The whole village knows. But people want to enter when they hear so pharmaceutical. Where is the Rex? Rex. If you in the Rex, who is in that line, would know. Once you call his name, it's his daughter. Okay, you're running. You're running. And you run in, and the daughter says yes. And you're happy. And they will sponsor. The wedding is usually carnival. But my dear, you are the barbecue for the carnival. So, profile the people you want to marry, whether man or woman. Remove sentiment. From today, see marriage as a business. See it as a business. You cannot buy a product you can't profit from. It's only a fool that goes to buy a thing 10 naira and sell it for 10 naira. If you're going in, you must go in with the intention to make profit. That profit we're talking about is not the physical profit, but you have to make profit subsequently. I say again, sex is spiritual. You know why I know sex is spiritual? There is nobody here who is above 18 that haven't seen semen before. In whole life. In whole life, semen. I'm wrong. Manding orango. In whole life, semen before. Miriwoke. You see that thing? When you see it, you will know how mysterious and how spiritual sex is. That water, pap, as the case may be, have you ever thought in your head how that thing that is watery contains liver, kidney, bone and marrow, brain and everything? Meanwhile, what was released was water. But what is contained in it is bone, is kidney. Inside is all these things put together. Life. It starts developing. Who broods over that water to give life to it? It's not physical. You are a spirit being. And that is exactly that spirit being is what is released into you. And you think, I took one pill and you think it's gone. No. It is more than taking a pill. It is more than having something started in your hand. It is more than using condom. It is a spirit. So be careful who you open your leg to. That's why the Bible had to narrow it down to marriage. So that is exactly what's going to happen here. She will make her choice. No matter how much this guy persuade her, choice is whose? Hers. Choice is hers. I don't know. You know. Don't deceive yourself. You know. You are either blinded by the suited up, or you are blinded by the walking out. The guy is well dressed, but told you that he's from so church and doesn't touch a woman until marriage. And you call him Jew man. The guy is from another church also that believes that the microphone must be tested before it is used. And then you have defiled the bed with him. And then he's a very good sportsman in that area. In your head, a bed at hand is what the one I have not seen. You are using destiny to do bed at hand. So you are thinking that in marriage, all you'll be doing is sex. Every day, bros, you will die. Profile this man before you say yes. Profile this man before you say yes. Brothers, profile this woman. This shape will suddenly disappear after some years. One of the worst places to go to on social media is Instagram. Instagram is a blue film platform. What people are doing on Instagram and TikTok, those is worse than what we used to watch as little children from the eye of this thing. It's worse. And once one person does her own, every other person will start doing it. You wear very light polo and leave things to be dangling and pour a little bit of water. So everything is pointing. Look at me. Look at me. And then you're dancing buga. Don't worry. You are a daughter of your mother. It means that your mother was looking like you 30 years ago. Look at that thing that was dancing buga, your mother, now, and see that thing is as flat as Nigerian economy. It's on the floor. Nothing is like, it's like the wall of Jericho. It's on the floor. Wall of Jericho. Be very careful. And let me tell you, the good thing about marriage is that you must get into a marriage that is well profiled, that when you are old, even that thing that is as flat as Nigerian economy, this man will be looking at it, not remembering it here, remembering it yesterday, and still be playing with it. And still feeling like it was, because in his mind, that thing that is down is still standing. But if God wants to punish you, this man, you didn't profile well, and is consumed by pornography, and all your arsenals are down. You have surrendered. You see this man? You know, one of the worst things that can happen to a lady is for a lady to appear sexy, and your husband or your boyfriend doesn't seem to see it. Ladies, in fact, you're even shaking it. And the man is busy trying to lace his shoes properly. And you pass his front, pass his back, pass his side, pass everywhere. And he turned to say, baby, are you okay? And you're like, are you not seeing me? Are you not seeing me? My sister, he's not seeing you. You don't need to confirm the obvious. If he was, he would have told you. Profile them. Leave the grammar from that guy. Leave the pretensive humility from that girl. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. God bless you guys. Thank you. I will rush quickly, but I need to establish this. Next, I will talk. It must enter your head. The tendencies of an only son. Let me first of all start by letting you know that is the last son, that is the only child in front of, behind women. First of all, let me start by letting you know that most times, using myself for an example, I have 3 girls already, 3 of us. Good. One of the things I may do, not because I'm under any compulsion or any duress, is to go and adopt a child, a baby boy. One of options. And then if God gives us the grace to give birth to a baby boy, remember the last time I told you that one of the reasons I will go for it is because my daughters have flogged me. Daddy, we need a baby brother. Daddy, we need a baby brother. As if I'm the producer of baby brother. Daddy, we need a baby brother. I keep hearing it like every other day. I want to carry my baby brother. I want to do my baby brother. Now, Zenith, my last daughter, is going to be 9 in July. Imagine Zenith being 9 and suddenly a baby brother arrives. What happens to that baby brother? You just carry the, my baby brother, my baby brother. That is what Zenith will be doing. In fact, the 3 of them will be struggling who will carry him. Before the baby brother gets to turn, they are in their 20s. Hopefully married to big boys, comfortable guys. And hopefully too, they have studied and gotten a very good work. And then they are trying to spoil their baby brother. So, me, getting old at that time tells them, no, this boy will go to St. Patrick's Secondary School. Zida says, God forbid. No, he's coming with me. He's coming over to the U.S. to school. Why are you going to waste such a money? Dad, did I ask you for money? Please let me be. Allow me to just spend on my brother. And Zenith is saying, no, he won't go to that school in America. He's coming over to Australia to be with me and my husband. Zara is saying he won't do that. He's coming to Canada to be there. And there, the little spoiled child is doing turbo on Canada, America, and Australia. Turbo. In fact, if he wants to break the heart of any of them, say, in fact, I'm not coming to your house again. I don't like the way you're treating me. Treating you. And the person will say, okay, if you don't want to come, it's fine. Just go to Zara, go to Zenith, go to whatever. And then the child goes there and is going to school not on the shoulders of the father anymore, but under the control of the sisters, who wouldn't let her feet touch the ground, his feet touch the ground. So they are carrying, so they are waving the child like a flag in any country they go to. That's my baby brother. That's my baby brother. That's my baby brother. So anytime the guy is in school, maybe Covenant University here, and says, we need, I'm asked to bring such amount of money. As soon as she's saying it, I have already given it to him. Zara will give it to him. Zenith will give it to him. Zida will give it to him. The guy is already loaded in university. By the time he's leaving university, if he's sane, the money he has saved would train 2 other people in school. Are you getting me? And remember, when he's eating this kind of money in school, there is also a babe beside that he also likes and takes out at random. The babe hears less of the father, hear more of the sisters. You know, my sister in Australia, my sister in Canada, my sister in America, that's what the babe hears. And the babe doesn't mind as long as they are eating the money together. But the babe has forgotten that everything that has to do with that guy was the decision of those 3 sisters. So, number 1 tendencies, the boy will be a spoiled child. Over-pampered baby elephant. Spoiled child, number 1. By spoiled, I mean, is a guy that whatever he wanted, he got. So when he demands a thing from the wife and the wife says no, he sees it as an abomination because nobody has ever said no to him. Babe, can you help me put on my shoe? And the wife sees it as very strange. Sister, the sisters help him to put on the shoe, even at 25. Because in the eyes of the sister, he remains their baby brother. So, is a guy, the tendency is that anything he wanted, he gets. If you quarrel with him, anything he wanted, he gets. Because when the sisters quarreled with him as he was growing up, they were the ones that begged. After quarreling, he will bone and go to one side and stay. And they will come and say, Juju, you see, because I said, is that why you're... Even when the Zida who got him angry is not saying sorry, Zara will say sorry on behalf of Zida. Zenith will add her sorry on behalf of the sister. Before you know it, you see that the way you're treating this boy, I don't like it. So can't you see? Don't you know it's our baby brother? He said, it's okay now, it's okay now. And Zida trying to make up, go out, buy ice cream that evening and give to him, and he's leaking. So everything he wanted, he got. The school he wanted, he went. The money he wanted was given. The car he wanted, he drove to school. The father never saw car, but he's now driving in university. Good car. And the sisters are promising, if you do well in your second year, I will change your car. Another tendency. There is nothing he would do without seeking the permission of the sisters. So if you hear him say, okay, I'll talk to my sister about it, don't be angry. It's his tendency. Because all his life he has been talking to his sisters about everything. If you people quarrel, I'll talk to my sister about it. And if the sisters hear it, what they see is not what you see. You see a husband, like every other woman see a husband. They see an only son and a baby brother. You see a 30-year-old guy. They don't see it. They see an only child, only son. Immediately, because of the way the sisters will talk to you, based on him, you say, okay, so it's your sisters that's controlling this marriage. I'm not interested anymore. I work hard. My dear, you walk out and you take a very long walk. Because that boy is not used to begging anybody. When you walk far, you will walk back. Tendency, he's not good with begging. He has always been begged. The mother and father will try to instill a little bit of discipline in him. Because they are already getting old, they will be prevented by these three musketeers. Are you getting me? He will find it difficult to say sorry. Tendency. Remember that naturally speaking, men have it. Men is one of the most difficult things for men to say sorry. Ladies, am I right? Yes. Good. Whereas you say yes, sir, let me also tell you, men also say sorry. We say sorry by action. You say sorry by words. So one of the things you must learn in marriage and relationship is the sorry language of your partner. If you want to confide your husband or your boyfriend into your sorry pattern, you will be sorry. You must know when he says sorry. The problem is that some of you say sorry, say sorry, say sorry, say it. The guy is already behaving sorry, but you want him to say sorry. Let me tell you one of the things that will happen. He will start seeing you as a domineering and a control freak. And he will start withdrawing. Learn his sorry language and accept his sorry language. And then kindly, persuasively advise him into your kind of sorry. Over time, men learns to give you that one good measure, pressed down and shaken together. But if you want to impose it on him, you won't get it. Because immediately there is an imposition on a man, his ego is touched. And once a man's ego is touched, he will say, we die here. He's wrong, but we die here. Praise God. He will always want his wife to look at his face because he had sisters looking at his face. He may always rely on the sister's decision because they have always been the one deciding for him. Another thing, you may see some elements of laziness in his life. He won't be aggressive in pursuit of life because he pursues people who pursued life for him. The job he got, the sisters fought for it. The school he went, they fought for it. The last time somebody insulted him outside, the sisters went to fight for him. When he got into trouble by joining court in universities, the sisters waded into it and changed school for him before the court knew that the guy had left school. He had left school. So everything was the sisters. The last time he got into trouble with the police on the road, it was the sister who called AIG. The only thing you hear him say, I will call my sister. I'll call my sister. I'll call my sister. Hey, sis, you can't even believe it. I'm just here. Johnson has a hey, what is it? What is it? Just tell me. He said, one stupid policeman just stopped me. You can't even believe it. He slapped me. What? He doesn't care to know what this boy did. What? My baby brother? Just, did you get the number of the guy? He said, yes, it's 1542-5. AIG calls there straight. Because that mugu. And the guy is disciplined. The policeman is disciplined for trying to correct overgrown baby elephant. But women have the tendency of being attracted to such boy. Reason is because he is the last in a wealthy family. Most women are looking for rest where there is no rest. They want to rest, but they can't pay the price of rest. They get in, boom. Say, he's the last one. He's the last. This is deputy VC in one university. Do you know that the immediate sister is also a lecturer in Oxford? My dear, I thank God for where I'm entering into. But you didn't check the tendencies. That behind that wealth and affluence is a man who can't take a decision without consultation. And now when you step in, you want to now become the controller general of his life. Who told you? The sisters was with him for 35 years before he married you. Suddenly you came within 5 years. You want to become the controller. Will it work? Even you know it no go work. You will struggle through it until you're tired of struggling. Go and study more of the tendencies. By looking for a boy born in such family, ask questions. Looking for a woman who married to such person, ask the wife question. They will tell you the tendencies, full measure, press down, shaking together, and you are the one that run over. What is the solution? Solution number 1. Be aware. The first solution is to know that these are his tendencies. Because a problem known is half solved. When you know that it's his tendencies, you'll build an expectation to it and then build a solution to it. Know first. It is worse when you don't know. You will wonder why he's behaving the way he's behaving. Women judge men by age. But please, from now, judge us by nature and nurture. After all, age is a number. There is something he's been eating until he got to that age. leave the number and check his diet. Check his diet. That's what made him. So, first, you must be aware. Second, my dear, leave complaining and moving right back and center and start praying. Pray. There is nothing impossible for God to do. After all, what God cannot do is only that you must be patient. You must be patient. So it's not a prayer you will pray 1 day, 2 days, 1 year, 2 years, and you say, I'm tired, I'm tired. You can't be tired. You will pray. You will pray. I was speaking with a pastor today who told me that there is something about him about him. I said, what is it? He said, whoever he is today, that is the wife that made him. I said, how do you mean? He said sometimes he's even lazy to pray as a pastor. That he has woken up severally at night and saw the wife laying hand on him and crying over his life. And sometimes he will pretend as if he's still sleeping and was listening to the lyrics of the wife's prayer. You will also, my God, my husband, make my husband this, make my husband that, make my husband this, make my husband that. He said, bros, I cannot, after hearing that prayer, and wake up and behave differently. Woman, learn to pray. Leave complain. You are not a police officer. Leave complain. Learn to pray. So if you have such a person, pray for him. Pray for him. If you believe in change, pray. Your doggedness in prayer is an evidence that you believe that God answers prayer. It's not a prayer after 1 week. It's, I'm not praying again. I'm not praying again. Does he even pray for me? No problem. Stay in it and suffer well. Praise God. The next solution. Talk to him wisely and suggestively. Wisely / suggestively. The best way to talk to a man is how? Suggestively, not command. You must do it for me. You must do it for me. The last birthday, you bought me a Samsung E20. This birthday, you have to buy me Samsung E100. No. Babes, this my Samsung is so nice. I thank you for buying it for me. It's such an amazing. I told you what my social person talked about this Samsung. I even watched the review on the internet. It's amazing. Kai, babe, I thank you for this sacrifice you make for me. Kai, I wish this Samsung was still as new as it was when you bought it for me. Kai, I knew what it would have been. It's just that it's really getting tired. Chai, babe, thank you. Bros, you have communicated to that man. You have communicated. He's not a fool. He heard you. That's it. Bring it. Let me show them. Bring my phone. This is what women do. Babe, is it this thing your mates are buying to their wives? Is it this thing? Is it this thing? Wicked man. You know what you told the man? Don't buy me phone again. Learn to talk to men. O imdi Igbo si n'okwu dị nlo na-eme ka ọnụ madajuo. And is lifted from the Bible. Gentle words turneth away wrath, anger. Women are empowered with their mouth. Men are empowered by their muscles. So when you want to take advantage of this, some men who doesn't have control will take advantage of this. Men, I warn you, that is the most stupid thing to do. The most stupid thing to do is to lift your hand against your wife because you can't beat yourself. Two of you are what? One. You can't beat yourself. So no matter what she says, the highest that will happen is leave that place. When that hand don't vibrate, and move towards her side. Move your body with the hand in another direction. Praise God. Let me look at it. Another thing, solution. Make your husband attend programs and seminars that will help him improve on his person. Because it's a personality defect. When there is a defect on this phone, you return it to where? The company. If you buy a phone, like when I got this in the US, I put it under warranty of Apple. And the warranty is still standing as we speak. If I have any issue with this phone, the only thing it will cost me is to use DHL, send it back to Apple, and email them the receipt. They will fix the phone and send it back to me. Warranty. When there is a defect on that man you married, try and send him back to his maker through programs in church. Honey, we have a seminar. Honey, there is this, there is that. Suggest it to him and push him there. When he sits under his maker, it might not be on the immediate. After a while, he will begin to see his error. He will begin to see his error. Because you can't correct him. Correction is what the mother tried to do for 35 years before you met him. You can't correct him. And remember, that man who came to marry you paid your bride price, not school fees. He didn't come to learn from your school. He didn't come to learn. No, it's my husband. I will teach him. I would. What is it? Is it chemistry 101 or biology 101? You can't teach him. You can only suggest to him. And if you're not wise about it, he won't receive it. Whether, let me tell you, man at best is man. Woman at best is woman. Ndị Igbo si onye le nkịta gote enwe. Ihe ntukwu kanobi. So, person where one pursuing wife, marry another one. Remember that what you still marry is a woman. Is it not woman? You want to marry another creature that is in between man and woman that is not really a woman, but risky. It won't work. Praise God. So manage what you have. Grass is always greener at the other side. Mama Nkechi, Papa Nkechi, opposite neighbor, they are always living better until Mama Nkechi opens mouth. You will hear that you are in paradise. Let's move over to firstborn. I will be fast about firstborn. Firstborn children are very delicate in the scheme of things. Number one, firstborn children, anybody who wants to marry them must be prayerful. Because firstborn children are children that God is interested in, the devil is interested in. Firstborn children are usually sacrificial children. In an occultic home, they are the ones that is used for sacrifice. In a home where they worship deity, they are the ones that the thing falls on naturally. Firstborn children are the children that God is interested in. Christ is the first and only Son of God. The only time that the devil allowed Pharaoh to hear the voice of God was when God killed the firstborn children of Egypt. All the firstborn male of Egypt and their animals, God took them. When God took them, Pharaoh said, go. Reason, it is the firstborn child, male, that is usually the one that takes over the throne of the father. Whether your father is a king or not, every firstborn man comes to take after the father. That's why cult will always demand you give your firstborn child. Praise God. And if they want to hit a man, they will kill your firstborn child. Again, firstborn children are the inheritors of the father's wealth. In law, there is it's a general recognition in law, especially in customary law, that every firstborn child in Igbo land naturally takes over from the father. Father's wealth belongs to the firstborn child. Let me tell you, using my family as an example. My father gave birth to all of us, plenty as we are. When my father died many years after, our eldest brother bought a land in a separate place where he wants to build his house. But when my father died many years after, he left the land and said he wanted to come and bring down my father's house and build his house there. We could not resist it. The rest of us, 7 boys, couldn't resist it because we know, traditionally speaking, that place belongs to him. So we kept quiet. He brought it down and erected his own house and left the land he bought a little bit far from the house. We are still keeping quiet. So I will buy a land and build. Others will buy. As a matter of fact, 3 of us have bought land differently in places to build because we are leaving it for the firstborn. Again, firstborn child is the child that takes over the business of the father, not just his inheritance. Jewish culture is relatively related to the culture of Africans, especially the Igbo culture. Jewish people, African culture values the first male child. As a matter of fact, male generally is so important in the scheme of things in Africa, to the point that if you don't have a male child, it's looking like you don't have a child. It is recently, in a particular matter, I can't remember whether it's Okabuye versus Okabuye, or a case in Anambra State, that the court decided that the female children of a man after his demise must be part of the inheritance of the deceased. So that becomes what we call local classicals, a reference point upon which female people or female folks can also lay hold on their father's inheritance. That's how important a male child is in the African culture. And then the head of them all is what? The first male. Now, in Benin, customary law, there is what we call Idiogbe. Idiogbe says, the principle of that says that when a man dies, the house he lived in, died in, and buried in belongs to the first son. And Benin people usually marry too many wives and concubines. And because of the forces that is against the firstborn child, what happens is that when the firstborn child of the man is very stupid and wayward, and the man is coming close to his death, maybe he's now 80, and the way the body they do, say 10 years time, go live. What the man does is to move outside that his big palace, big building, 2-story building, and go and build 1 room and parlor somewhere and start living there. So he will die there, they will bury him there. When the first son appears, they will say, see your house. That's what he takes. That big mansion is now left for the siblings. That's what Benin men do. So if you take the matter to court, Idiogbe is a recognized law in Edo, they will tell you where your father lived before his death, where he was buried, belongs to the first son. Now, is such a law in Jew that when you give birth to a boy, firstborn, you would introduce the child to your business at the age of 12, which was relatively what Christ went to do in Jerusalem at the age of 12. That was why when Joseph and Mary returned to the Jerusalem temple and was harassing him and telling him, are you not worried thou not that we looked for you? And he said to them, don't you know that I must be about my father's business? Because as from age of 12, a man, firstborn, is introduced to the father's business. Introduced. I think if you read the book of Mark 6 or thereabout, where he was specifically called the carpenter, because afterwards he joined the father in carpentry business and began to do carpentry. So he was called Jesus the carpenter. Firstborn child. Firstborn child is trained by default to look after his siblings. By default. Every firstborn male child with other siblings will naturally look towards the siblings, because as he's being trained, the mother and father is telling him, remember your siblings. Remember your siblings. As a matter of fact, in 1981, my mother was so sick to the point of death that one day my mother called all of us together. I was very small, whether primary 1 or 2. She called us, but I can still remember. We were just surrounded. We surrounded my mom on the deathbed in our sitting room. He was lying down. He held the hand of my eldest brother, Kingsley. If anything happened to me today, remember your brothers. We began to cry. This is done by many, many parents. As they are training him to train others. What am I saying in effect? Here are their tendencies. Because of the training of the firstborn children, they have some specific tendencies. First of all, you must understand the firstborn children are important to God and the devil, and that's why a majority of them are useless. Majority of them are useless. They know the two get it. And let me also tell you, if you come into a family where the firstborn man gets it right, majority of the rest gets it right. Check families. Where the firstborn graduates from school, majority of them graduates from school. Where the firstborn child makes hell of money, majority of the rest makes hell of money. Most times I use my family as an example. My eldest brother was too intelligent that he took French in WAEC. As a little boy, the guy communicates with French till today fluently. The best French student in St. Patrick's Emene Enugu. St. Patrick's Secondary School Emene. But finished secondary school and say, I know they go again. I was expecting this guy to continue. I was looking forward to this guy, you know. He said, I know they go again. We went to learn tire. To sell tire. Immediately after that one was the next one. You know where that one dropped out? JS2. He came home and told my father that he's not going again. Where was he? Choleric Comprehensive Secondary School in Go. One of the top, best schools in those days. Who was on the line? Me. But, oh Jesus, God is interested in this soul. I was seeing this pattern. Let me even tell you. My father dropped out at JS3. But any man who read Standard 6 is already the best in his days. My father went to secondary school and stopped at JS3. Later, he was transported to Poland, where he went to study engineering by training, where he now finally worked with Coal Corporation as a senior civil servant, as an engineer. Keep that on the sign. Are you seeing it? When he came to me, I told myself, even as an unbeliever, I will not drop out of school. But the forces that fought the two fought me to pieces, that there was no money to train me. It was at my turn that my father and mother didn't have money to train. They were visiting my elder brother in St. Patrick's Secondary School, Emene, every weekend to carry food to him. When I resisted that thing that happened to them won't happen to me, there was no money to train me. I began to train myself. I saw myself through school. While I was trying to see myself through secondary school, even as a bad boy, see what happened. The one immediately behind me said I won't go to secondary school at all. Have you seen the mistake of the first? You know what I did? I started fighting not just for me, but for the one behind the one that behind me, and my last sister. I was the one who bought their jam forms. I was the one who directed them how to do it, what to do, how to fill it, everything, and made sure that two of them graduated. I did that. It wouldn't have been my work if the firstborn had gone to university, finished and come back with copper shore. Everybody will want to wear that khaki. But immediately he said no. The no, ripple effect, started flowing. That is the power of the firstborn child. They are not just children, they are spiritual entities. And that's why the Bible demands by God that you dedicate the first to him. God doesn't demand the second, the first. Give me the first. He said, when the first is holy, the rest is. It doesn't matter how many are behind the first. If you dedicate the first, the rest is secured. That's the power of the first. My firstborn child had hepatitis. My father had hepatitis. My mother had hepatitis. That first one that dropped hepatitis, the one following had hepatitis. He came to my turn. I said, I resist hepatitis in the name of Jesus. I never had it. After a while, my father did this operation, appendicitis. My mother, appendicitis. The firstborn, appendicitis. The one that followed, appendicitis. I said, I will never. It stopped with me. That is the error of the firstborn child. If you have a firstborn child that you haven't redeemed from the altar, you are making mistake. That's why sometimes when you people give birth to a firstborn child, especially male, you bring the child to an altar and put 10,000 in an envelope and go and organize 1 million naira party and thinking you are deceiving God. You are risking the child of the firstborn. The chances of the firstborn is getting narrow. Because he's a spiritual entity. The devil is interested. God is interested. So giving it to God doesn't mean the prayer we do here. That is one part of it. The second part of it is the exchange done on his behalf. That is it. So if you're marrying the firstborn child as a woman, you must be an open-hearted woman. If you're not open-hearted and accommodating, don't marry a firstborn child. Reason, he is fabricated to carry others along. You can't marry a firstborn man and say, I don't want anybody in my house. I don't want anybody in my house. I want just me and my husband, me and my husband. You lie. Not in Africa. What we are treating is Africa. So, if your husband-to-be is a first son, forget what he's telling you, baby, it's just only two of us. Don't worry until the reality done. You can't take away the hope of the family in the name of trying to say, I don't want any visitor in my house. Are you not a visitor in the first place? You didn't come? No, you were born. So you must be large-hearted to accommodate the first son and the people that is behind the first son, because they will always come to their elder brother's house. They would demand from their elder brother. They would depend on their elder brother, because the things that they would have used to train them was poured on the elder brother. My daughter, for the first 6 months of her life, drank milk I bought from the UK. While my wife was about to deliver, I was privileged to travel to UK. One full traveling box, I bought a particular milk that was not in Nigeria at the time. Loaded in that place. Brought it down. That was what Zida took the first 6 months. If you see Zida, you will know. That she'll be growing like a zaga. Before we started doing, what's the name of that milk? SMA gold. There's not all of them. There's a particular SMA gold. Foreign one with a number. That's what she was managing to take. So what I would have used in training Zara and Zenith was poured on her. That's the way it is for firstborn male child. After pouring all that, that's the way it is. And when they are training him, they are training him to train others. So one tendency, firstborn child man will always come with baggages of the siblings. One. Secondly, firstborn male is always authoritative, because he's taught authority from child. How was he taught authority from child? In a bid to control the siblings. Sit down here. Don't do this. Don't do that. Authority entered his head. So even when he's now married, sit down there. He said, I am your wife. I'm not your house here. Oh, sorry. But it's his tendencies. Because he has always been the one controlling other siblings. So he will have that controlling thing around him, that he wants to put it on you. Because he has always been in charge, in command, giving orders. Nobody resists because he's the only one, the eldest. So that controlling is there. The command system is there. Accommodating the siblings are there. So as his salary is coming, he's dividing for the immediate family and the extended family. Research the rest tendencies. Pastor, what do we do? If you're not large-hearted enough to accommodate his siblings, don't marry him. Don't say, I came because he promised me that they wouldn't be coming. Wouldn't your own siblings be coming? Would they be coming? Why wouldn't his be coming? Let me tell you, women, sometimes I pity you guys. People that grew up together for 35 years before you came, suddenly, you want to just separate them. Or Sophia, you want to divide and rule. Just scatter them so you can be a woman of the house. That is wickedness. That is Jezebelian spirit. Witchcraft is understatement. And if it's witchcraft, the Bible says, suffer not a witch to live. Be accommodating. How do we handle it, Pastor? Open up your heart immediately for the siblings. If you want to get your firstborn man that you are married into your pocket, befriend his siblings. If you befriend his siblings, you have finished him. Because he will always resist you. But once a matter rises and you talk to the siblings, they will finish him. Because you're married a quiet woman, that's why you're behaving like this. Please, better. I have experience of many women like that, who knows how to enter into a family. Another tendency, firstborn male children are usually very close to their mother. Very close to their mother. So they say, you're close to your mother. Even at the age of 30, at the age of 50, you're close to your mother. When will you become a man? When will you become a man? Excuse me? Just like firstborn daughters are usually close to their father. But when you are close to your father, it's romantic. It's very romantic. But when the man is close to the mother, it's awkward. Is it not a man? When will you be a man? Okay, man is to create a fight between the two of them. If you're not ready to accommodate that man and that woman, leave them. Don't marry. Don't say, I will marry and know what to do. Don't worry, I know what to do. Jezebel, don't worry. See, you will plan. You will plan, but the plan will not work. Maka na agwa na-egbu na eze, onye na-egbu agwọ na eze kwu. You're making strategy. The people you're making strategy for, they are also making strategy. So strategy will meet strategy and form tragedy. And when wars come to wars, who will go? Reason is because you came. Where will the man go if you tell him to go? He's already where he should go. Open your heart to accommodate such men. If you want to get them here, go close to that their mother. You will use their mother to control them like puppet. You will now hear him, Mama, please, step out of this. Mama, please. Oh, that's what you'll be hearing. And when the thing is happening, you say, Mama, please. But you know what you do. But some of you say, no, I bind my mother-in-law. I bind my mother-in-law. You will become a mother-in-law, and your daughters-in-law will bind you. Be wise. Don't get into a family with a fight. You can't finish the fight. You will become restless. You will be like Afghanistan. Iraq will be better than you. So, know who you are getting married to. They give orders, they give commands, they are controlling. Their siblings must be dependent on them. They will have this strong connection with their mother. That's the way they are. Solution: pray for him. Second, be close to the mother if he's still alive, and be close to the brothers. Look for the brothers amongst his brothers or siblings amongst his siblings that is very close to him. I have my brother who is not just my brother but my friend, the one abroad. If you want to catch me, talk to him. If you want to catch him, talk to me. He's abroad. If I call him now and say, you are not coming out tomorrow, he won't come out. If he calls me now and say, this thing you're doing, I don't like it, it ends. We are both friends and brothers. Anytime I weep, he weeps. Anytime I'm excited, he's excited. Amongst the siblings, there's always siblings and siblings. Look for such people, befriend them. Use them as your key to unlock your husband's heart. Don't say, I cannot do it. Why would I use anybody to talk to my husband? Is he not my husband? Is he not my husband? My dear, keep unlocking with that key until you become a key. The brothers did not become key overnight. It's time. So keep using that borrowed key until you become key yourself. When your intention is made known and clear, you wouldn't need him again. By then, they would have known you came for peace. Let me tell you, every man and woman that is getting into marriage, there is always suspicion from both sides. The man, they look you like this. You, they look at like this. It's after a while, you will see that intentions are right. Your intentions can't be right overnight. Intentions are proven. before it becomes right. But most times, the way women wade into men is that, no, I'm the wife. Nobody's arguing it. What we are saying is be wise, even as though you are wife. Add wisdom. Be also wise. 1, pray for him. 2, go close to the mom, go close to the siblings. 3, don't struggle with authority and command with him. If you do me, I go do you. Do me, I go do. If you people keep doing and do, when the doing gets tough, you will go. I was talking with a woman lately. You know what the woman said to me? He said to me, I have never seen a woman like that lately. He said to me, even if what they are accusing my husband for is true, I will not leave him. I was shocked to my bones. I said, why? He said, I have never seen a woman that left and remained the same. I would rather forgive him, endure, than to leave him and suffer. Married. The way my husband hugged that sister in church, the way he hugged, he was even breaking out his chest and hugging. No, he would have brought out his I don't know. No, he would have hugged like this. How else do you hug other than hugging? And that becomes problem. Why did you hug like that? Did you take him on a class on how to hug? The woman said, even if my husband slept with that lady, I will not leave him. She said, I painted a picture in my heart on a worst case scenario of my husband sleeping with other women. And I told myself, if it happens, I will still not leave him. But it will pain me, but I won't leave him. Some of you will pour hot water, hot oil, give acid, do all that. My dear, when you give acid, you become a widow. Go and ask any woman who has left the husband's house. What happened afterwards? You see that name you are asking, Mrs. You don't know what Mrs. covers for you until it's removed. A woman left Mrs., walked out on the marriage as a result of issues. Less than 1 month, this is experience telling me. He said for the first time, a guy that they are just normal clothes in the office hit her butt for the first time after she got her divorce. That never happened. Why did it happen? He watched you remove the missus. For him, you are back into the market. So the way we treat others without missus is they will treat you. If you know the respect this thing gives you, anytime you see your husband, greet him twice. You stay in a car, in a train, anywhere, and see a woman married with ring. Gentleman, if there is no seat, you start. Hand up and say, Madam, sit down. If he's a single person, you sit where you're sitting. Once he's married, courtesy demands, Madam, please sit. You are older. You are even richer than the husband. But when we respect women based on marriage, we are not respecting the husband's age or money. We are respecting the office. Office. Madam, sit. And the woman sits down. And thinks that if there's anything special, that this thing. When you remove it, you will understand the impact. So I'm saying that to say, if indeed you have that man as the firstborn child, do all these things I say you should do and be praying for him. Change is one thing that is constant. And let me also advise both the women and the men. There is no marriage that doesn't go through crisis. What happens is that lack of wisdom will make you throw away a marriage too early. Many years after, the woman will mature, the man will mature. Ask your mother and father living peacefully now. There was a time they were cat and dog. But after a while, maturity sets in. And you suddenly see cat and dog becoming hand in glove. And they were fighting before. But now they're... Because that maturity takes a lot out. Be patient and wait for that time to come. Otherwise, you will regret. Igbo si na ọ na-abụ akwụla ọtọ gwujie ji esekpụla ana wee bọba ike. So you kneel down early enough to excavate the yam. Don't stand off to cut it. Look for people who are firstborn, who married firstborn child, and study them. Very simple study. Ask the wife, what's the reactions of this man? Let's see. Hear them. It is a man. The one you are dating as a firstborn is also a man. The similarity will be 70%. Can I tell you the positive part of such people? Firstborn children are very accommodating. I am giving you worst case scenario. That's why it's looking like we are talking the negative side of them, so that you will know. Because it's on the negative you make your decision. Nobody complains about the good type. Oh, yes, but they are very accommodating. Reason, having many siblings with many characters, with many behaviors, with many everything, they are always accommodating. So they have the tendency of accommodating your excesses more than a guy that is not the first. Who doesn't know? Like the last one, not gonna accommodate you now. Let's happen. Hasn't even accommodated himself. Hallelujah. Have you been blessed? Is everybody saying, Pastor, I have a question? Prepare your question. When the time comes, I will throw it up. Have everything in your heart and get ready for the question. Sunday, I will be treating the last female child with many men ahead of her and the first female child with siblings mixed together. What their tendency will be. Bring out your offerings and tithes and let's give to God. You can't get it wrong in marriage. God won't let you. God won't let you. You will marry to rest. You will marry to enjoy. You will not endure. You will enjoy. The spirit of understanding will rest upon you. No matter which of the men you marry, you will live with them peacefully. In the mighty name of Jesus. Hallelujah. Please package your offerings and tithes and let's give to God before we exit the hall. If you need an envelope, you know what to do. Just raise your hand, ushers will give it to you. Wateke tamuno oribime iye oribime Wateketamuno oribime.
Say, iye oribime. Boma, 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 boma. Say, boma, boma, simeterie. Wateketamuno oribime. Iye oribime.
Let's rise with our offerings and tithes if you have finished packaging them. Anybody from Okrika? God bless you. It's when I went for missionary work. I went for missionary in Okrika. That's the first time I heard the song. Many years ago. And it was so sweet because, you know, they are the originators of the song. And they explained it and sang it for me well. And that's where I ate porridge yam. Porridge yam, hot, with fish. Say, ew. Very sweet. I don't forget that thing. I was on water for 1 hour plus. I spoke all manner of tongues. Even me, I I stopped. I don't understand the tongues again myself. And why is boat always spoiling on the water? The question is, where would he have spoiled? Hallelujah. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord prosper you. It's our month of kingdom balance. May the Lord balance you. Every deficiency in your life, call it financial deficiency, psychological, material, husband, fruitfulness, may God balance you. By the end of this month, you would have been balanced. Those things that people look at you and say, maybe people will say they be Christians. By the end of this month, they will look at you and congratulate you. In the mighty name of Jesus. Please pass the offering to the last person on the row.
Boma, boma, karabuye se wateka tamuna oribiye. Wateka tamuna oribiye. Wateka tamuna oribiye. Boma, 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 oh, what a good time, oribibe, Eluwa Jesu kimo. Let me see you dance for Jesus. Eluwa Jesu kimo. Erekefe wako kimo. Egimoge melemo. Erikisi wako kimo. Egimoge melemo. Eluwa Jesu kimo. Eluwa Jesu kimo. Oh, erekefe wako kimo. Erekefe wako kimo. Egimoge melemo. Oh, Jesu, oh, Jesu, Jesu, oh, Jesu, oh, say, Erekefe wa pokimo, imoge melemo. Jesus, carry you for the year, and another badu for the year. You sing, mother, bring about the more, adio. Jesus sing area for the year. I got the rock of my for the year. Sing, Daddy,
hallelujah. Time will not permit me to tell you guys what happened Sunday evening. I'm sure the singles were praying for me. Pastor would not remember. No, I'm reserving it for Sunday. Sunday, I will tell the church how it went. I will tell the church how it went. Or church, you don't want to hear? We will want to hear. Don't worry, I will tell them. Let's share the grace in fellowship. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit be and abide with us now and forevermore. Amen. And surely his goodness and mercy is following us all the days of our lives, and we are dwelling in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. God bless you. Have a wonderful night rest, and see you on Sunday, 7 a.m. Sunday and 9 a.m.
Abana,